right, hello there and good evening. Many thanks for joining us tonight and choosing KUTV Weekend Live to inform you once again on this first day of June 2024. Our reporters this day have been up and about, shining their spotlight on a number of top stories that include Luya dances and songs fill the air, with businesses in Bungoma reaping big following today's Madaraka Day celebrations. President Ruto asks government officials to emulate him as a steward of accountability and resource management. Government writes off 110 billion shillings debts accumulated by sugar factories over the past 40 years. And 18,000 agripreneurs tasked with mobilizing and educating farmers across all 47 counties commissioned by the government.
This is Weekend Live with Theo Macharia.
Alright, and remember this broadcast is also streaming live on our YouTube platforms at KUTV News Kenya and on X at KUTV_Kenya. My co-anchor tonight in terms of sign language interpretation is Mutava Mwongeli, and my name is Theo Macharia. Let's get you informed tonight. And thousands of Kenyans braced the chilly morning weather to attend the historic Madaraka Day celebrations in Bungoma County as Kenya marked 61 years of self-rule. The auspicious celebrations were held at the Masinde Muliro Stadium in Bungoma County with military parade, notable traditional Luya dances including the infamous Isukuti dance that saw President Ruto and other leaders stand and join in the dance. Residents stated that today's celebration greatly boosted businesses in the region. Akide Kasim has more.
In the spirit of Madaraka and genuine concerns over the conduct of democratically elected government officials, President William Ruto has weighed in on wasteful spending in government. Ruto, in his Madaraka Day speech, told the flocks thronging Masinde Muliro Stadium that his government is determined to employ accountability for public resources.
It is critical to emphasize that the resolve to reinvigorate tax revenue mobilization was accompanied by an implicit and explicit undertaking that the government would not compromise on its responsibility to steward public resources with utmost prudence, transparency, and accountability.
Ruto called upon leaders in his government to follow his lead in mindful utilization of the national treasures.
We must live within our means by raising our own revenue and spending it carefully and wisely. Every officer in the public service, starting with me, shall be held to full account for all resources under their authority.
Ruto's sentiments come at a backdrop of enhanced criticism over the extravagant jet that recently flew him to the United States. Criticism that has been fueled by the additional concerns over plans by Ruto to inflate the tax levels in the Finance Bill of 2024-2025. And while the Finance Bill is in its public participation stage, Parliamentary Finance Committee Chair Kimani Kuria has said that the tax propositions in the bill are not final and Kenyans will have a say in whether to drop the contentious issues in the bill. Kuria's remarks notwithstanding, last year's finance bill sailed through Parliament into law with minimal alterations, despite being contested by over 95% of Kenyans in the public participation stage. Muneneweru, KUTV.
All right, and that story, we apologize, was for Muneneweru and not Akide Kasim. Let's now proceed on right here on Weekend Live, where on today's Madaraka Day celebrations commemorated under the theme of agriculture and food security, the Kenya Kwanza government has written off 110 billion shillings debts accumulated by sugar factories over the past 40 years and 6.9 billion shillings debts owed by coffee cooperatives. This announcement was made by President William Ruto during the 61st Madaraka Day celebrations held in Bungoma County. Our very own Yvonne Kemuma continues from that point.
During the 61st Madaraka Day celebrations, President William Ruto unveiled a series of significant reforms aimed at revitalizing Kenya's agriculture sector, particularly in the sugarcane and coffee industries. These measures are designed to boost the economy, enhance food security, and improve the livelihoods of farmers. In his address, the first-in-command emphasized the crucial role of the sugar industry in supporting local economies and generating employment. To address the challenges faced by this industry, the government has introduced several initiatives, including the decision to write off 110 billion in debt accumulated by the sugar factories over the past 40 years.
We are also writing off Kenya shillings 6.7 billion debt owed by coffee cooperatives around Kenya. And specifically, in this write-off, Bungoma County, the cooperatives in Bungoma County, 300 million shillings will be written off for cooperatives in Bungoma County. To accomplish this, we have implemented a number of radical measures. We have written off Kenya shillings 110 billion worth of sugar factories' debts accumulated over the last 40 years. A new leasing model that will guarantee prompt payment for cane deliveries by farmers, timely wages for factory workers, and a bonus to sugarcane farmers every end of the year, like other crops, is underway.
The president also announced a new leasing model that is to be implemented to ensure timely payment of cane deliveries, wages for factory workers, and annual bonuses for sugarcane farmers.
As part of our commitment to invest 2 billion shillings into sugarcane development through state-owned mills, after leasing is completed, I am proud to announce that the government has approved the first tranche of 600 million for seed cane development, and the National Treasury shall shortly release these funds to farmers.
The coffee industry also saw new measures to improve the coffee industry, with the president announcing that initiatives are in place to boost coffee production from 2 kgs to 10 kgs per tree.
Under the coffee sector reform that we initiated, a 4 billion coffee jerry fund was established, 2 billion of which have been paid, with a balance allocated for payment in the 2024-2025 financial year.
Currently, the agriculture sector contributes about 27% of employment in the country, both directly and indirectly. Yvonne Kemuma, KUTV.
All right, and still on matters Madaraka Day celebrations, with the 61st Madaraka Day celebrations being held in Bungoma County, President William Ruto promised a load of goodies in form of infrastructural developments for Bungoma. Among the developments promised issues by the president to the county is the completion of Masinde Muliro Stadium roof to shelter residents against harsh weather conditions. Additionally, the president stated that the national government will partner with Bungoma County to build an airport in the region that will ease the movement into the neighboring counties and the capital city. Ruto further asked those living in public lands to vacate willingly to facilitate these projects. Take a look.
Kuna jamaa moja hapa amesema tumefurahi mambo ya miwa, ndio tumekuita mheshimiwa. Hiyo ni sawa. Lakini mambo ya miwa tumeshakamilisha. The next time you come to this stadium, this whole stadium will be covered properly.
All right, and let's now proceed on where a total of 18,000 agripreneurs tasked with mobilizing and educating farmers across all 47 counties have been commissioned by the government today during this year's Madaraka Day celebrations. The government states that it seeks to ensure that farming puts money in the economy and the pocket of farmers as they supply the country with food resources. The agripreneurs will work hand in hand with extension officers in every county to educate farmers on agribusiness and ensure Kenya achieves food security, which will boost revenue in collection. Becky Ethiambo highlights.
There are 18,000 agripreneurs around the country whom we have commissioned today to take charge of our agriculture across Kenya. The power of the database is beyond doubt. In recent months, farmers have been able to access subsidized fertilizer from the fertilizer subsidy program, as well as animal feed and certified seed. Umeelezwa ya kwamba tuko na vijana 18,000 kama hawa katika sehemu zote za taifa letu la Kenya. Leo tuko hapa na 2,500 kama kielelezo ya wale wengi ambao hawako pamoja na sisi.
Right, and Kirinyaga Governor Anne Waiguru during Kirinyaga Madaraka Day celebrations held at Motito Polytechnic grounds condemned those preaching regional politics, saying Kenya needs to unite but not have regional leaders. Waiguru emphasized her support for President William Ruto, saying she has seen the need to support the government since her people will benefit from this support. Other leaders who spoke during the celebrations asked their colleagues to put their effort in serving the people and end divisive politics and early campaigns. Kirinyaga Central Member of Parliament Gitari Gashoki said that Kirinyaga people will rally their support behind Governor Waiguru if she decides to ascend to a higher office come 2027.
Na mtu yeyote anaturudisha to a tribal formation, that is an enemy of Mount Kenya. Hatutaki kuwekwa kando venye tulitaka kuweka kando 2007. Stand firm with the president, na sisi hatutapangwa na ukabila.
I would like to put it in daylight, broad daylight, that there are no vacant seats anywhere. Si ndio? Hata hii yako governor tunamezea mate lakini tunajua umekalia. Saa hii ni ya kufanya kazi. Because if we start politicking this Sunday, tutafanyiwa njiko kazi siku gani?
Kama wewe uko na makasiriko yako mahali uko na tulitengeneza serikali pamoja, umeanza kukasirika, usituletee makasiriko Kirinyaga.
All right, and we are taking a fast, short commercial break right here on KUTV Weekend Live. See you on the other side with more top stories. Keep interacting with us on our social media platforms.
Are you an aspiring media practitioner, a graduate, or you just want to advance your skills in television production? Then welcome to Kenyatta University, where education meets innovation. KUTV, the premier university television station in Kenya, is now offering short courses in TV studio, field technical operations, and video editing. Through these courses, you will acquire hands-on skills on camera operations, media production, lighting techniques, audiovisual editing, and sound and visual control, and how to operate key equipment in modern TV control room. Enroll today at KUTV and discover your full potential in cutting-edge TV broadcasting. Graduates of these courses will receive professional certificates. For more information, visit our offices at KUTV Studios or call us on 020-870-4252 or 020-870-4255 or SMS us on 0739-110-544. KUTV, a new experience.
Maelfu na maelfu ya wahamiaji wakiwa na watoto kutoka nchi za Amerika ya Kati wanaendelea kuwasili kwenye mpaka kati ya Marekani na Mexico.
But folks, I'm going. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Ni habari kutoka pembe zote duniani. Pepo power si vuguvugu. Pepo power ni idea.
Sazidi ananyonya, hanyonyi vizuri, anakuwa hayuko comfortable.
Jeshi la Jamhuri ya Kidemokrasia ya Kongo linapambana na waasi wa ADF.
Kwa sasa wanatoa wito kwa mashirika, makampuni na vile vituo vya uchukuzi.
Mambo mengi yatakwenda kama yalivyopangwa.
Hapa ni kuna mmoja wa viongozi wa chama cha wavuvi katika eneo hili.
Zaidi tunajaribu kuwapa chanjo ili ina boost ama inanyanyua kinga ya mwili, hiyo inaenda kupelekea kupambana na virusi.
Ni duniani leo, Jumatatu mpaka Ijumaa, moja kwa moja kutoka VOA Swahili, Washington DC.
Access to knowledge. Solution to unanswered questions.
Guidelines to pursuing your rights and repossessing your property, intellectual or material.
This and more only on Law Matters.
They are powerful and influential. They make decisions in politics, education, finance, agriculture, health, sports, and all aspects of human life. But the impact of their decisions falls on you, the common citizen. KUTV Primetime News Thursday. We ask bold questions and pursue answers to the core to bring you closer to the story. We couldn't have it any other way. Join me, Auma Evans, as I raise matters of social concern to raise your voice from the background to the foreground. Every Thursday and Saturday at 9 p.m. only on KUTV.
You are watching Weekend Live with Theo Macharia.
All right, 19 minutes past the top of the hour. Many thanks for sticking with KUTV Weekend Live to inform you on this first day of June 2024. Let's keep it going. Now, residents of Garissa now have every reason to smile after the county administration launched a state-of-the-art mother and child hospital that will significantly reduce the number of mothers who are dying of pregnancy-related issues. Speaking at Garissa County Referral Hospital, where the facility will be built, Governor Nathif Jama said that the project will be completed in 20 months. Governor Jama disclosed that the hospital will not only serve Garissa residents, but also the entire region of northern Kenya, neighboring counties, and even Somalia. Pauline Dongo produced the following. Right, and 3 days after South Africans cast their votes in the national elections, results in from 98% of polling stations indicate that the ruling party is set to lose majority for the first time after support for the African National Congress, famously known as ANC, reduced to 40%, ending 3 decades of dominance by the party that freed the country from apartheid, therefore leading South Africa into a new era of coalition politics. South Africans expressed their dissatisfaction over joblessness, inequality, and power shortages. Take a look.
As votes tallying from South Africa's Wednesday poll entered its final stages on Saturday, the African National Congress, led by President Cyril Ramaphosa, garnered 40% of the vote, with the main opposition party, Democratic Alliance, led by John Stein Hussein, amassing 21.71 votes, and Umkhonto we Sizwe, a new party led by former President Jacob Zuma,
garnering 14.76 votes, while the economic freedom fighters, led by former ANC youth leader Julius Malema, got 9.48% so far. ANC currently leads with overall counted votes, but in an historic turn of events, it might need a coalition with another party to form a government if it does not achieve 50% victory in all 9 provinces by the end of the vote tallying process. The ANC has won every previous national elections since the historic 1994 vote that ended the white minority rule, but over the last decade, ANC has lost its majority due to complaints about the stagnated economy, the rise in unemployment levels, and crippling of roads and power stations. Despite some parties questioning what they say are vote counting inconsistencies that may lead to some results being contested, South Africa's Electoral Commission chair assured South Africans that the commission is committed to conducting credible elections and urged the people of South Africa to maintain peace and law during this exercise as the commission seeks to release the final results on Sunday.
And now shifting gears to some international news, Nigeria is experiencing its worst economic crisis in a generation, leading to widespread hardship and anger. Some Nigerians are demanding a reversal of government policies 1 year after authorities embarked on bold but unpopular economic reforms. President Bola Tinubu has so far refused to change course, insisting his reforms will improve Nigeria's ailing economy. Timothy Obiezu reports from Abuja, Nigeria.
This was how it all began on May 29, 2023, as Bola Tinubu was inaugurated as the 16th president of Africa's most populous nation. Under the campaign Renewed Hope, the so-called political godfather of Lagos promised economic growth, security, job creation, food security, and inclusive leadership. But 1 year later, many Nigerians who supported him, like trader Jolly Guinea Kanwa, say his approach is flawed.
That we are suffering. Tinubu should do something. Tinubu should do something. At least he's a human being. He's a human being. He's the one ruling this country. He did not come to destroy this country, but to take care of the people that is ruling, to take care of us. We are suffering. Children are crying, adults are crying.
President Tinubu introduced controversial policies, including the scrapping of decades-long fuel subsidy payments and floating the naira against other world currencies shortly after taking office. Transportation and food prices have soared, leading to an annual inflation rate of 34%. Tinubu has assured Nigerians he'll fix inflation and address the economic challenges. This week, the president announced free train rides for 6 months as he opened a new metro station in Abuja to mark his first year in office. The president also announced the launch of several development projects, but critics say the government is irresponsible and pandering to foreign influence.
It was extremely and fundamentally flawed to stay at the swearing-in ceremony to announce that subsidy is gone, when you had no ministers, no advisors, nobody to talk to. Because before you should announce that policy, there should have been some people sitting down in a committee or in a group or whatever you call them, do the simulations and the projections.
Nigeria's security situation is also getting worse under Tinubu. According to Beacon Security Consulting Limited, the number of terrorist and criminal attacks in the last year increased to nearly 8,000 compared to 5,500 recorded the year before. Onyebere says lack of accountability is the reason the security problems have persisted.
Politics is still being trumping governance, especially in security. How many of these bandits have been captured, tried, prosecuted, and sentenced for people to see?
Nigerian workers' unions are threatening to protest if the president does not reverse his policies on fuel subsidies and the currency by the end of May. Many here say they will continue to remind the president of his campaign promises to make the country more secure and prosperous. Timothy Obiezu, VOA News, Abuja, Nigeria.
All right, and that story from Nigeria brings us to our second breather right here on KUTV Weekend Live. Once again, see you on the other end with more top stories. Keep it KUTV Weekend Live.
Lola is an app that gives you a chance to watch videos, listen to audios, and read articles wherever you are for free. Motivational stories, dramas, campus life, technology, lifestyle, adventure, sports, academics, jobs, entertainment, and more. Download Lola now on Play Store. All you need, you got Lola.
Tunachimba hadi mizizi kuletea yanayojiri.
So mimi naomba tu serikali yetu ya Mungu ibarikiwe na Mungu iweze kuteremsha bei ya mafuta
yanayokukumba. Tuna maizi, tunakutetea sisiri. Kwa kweli ni speciali tukikupambia makala ya mwanamke mwake. Utasema hupendi mizizi ya habari. Nami Caroline.
Are you healthy, or rather, do you maintain a healthy lifestyle? According to WHO, health is regarded as a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease. Welcome to Focus on Health, a show on all matters health, wellness, and lifestyle. On this show, we cover a wide variety of topics, inclusive of, but not limited to, dental, optical, mental, reproductive health, and so much more. Join me, Joy Bofenda, every Thursday at 7:30 p.m. on KUTV for compelling insights and discussions on all matters health. See you then.
Focus on Health, your weekly dose of health and wealth information on KUTV.
You are watching Weekend Live with Theo Macharia.
All right, many thanks for sticking with KUTV Weekend Live and choosing us to inform you once again tonight. Let's proceed with the bulletin. Now, United States presidential candidate Donald Trump says the Biden administration engineered his criminal conviction in New York to gain an advantage in the upcoming November's general elections. President Joe Biden, however, maintains that the justice system should be respected. Voice of America's correspondent Scott Stantz now reports.
Donald Trump supporters gathered Friday outside New York's Trump Tower, where he said his guilty verdicts were orchestrated by President Joe Biden.
Just so you understand, this is all done by Biden and his people. Maybe his people more importantly. I don't know if Biden knows too much about it, because I don't know if he knows about anything. But he's nevertheless the president, so we have to use his name.
Biden told White House reporters that the American justice system should be respected.
And it's reckless. It's dangerous. It's irresponsible for anyone to say this was rigged just because they don't like the verdict.
A jury found Trump guilty of falsifying business records to conceal payments to an adult film star to influence the outcome of the 2016 presidential election. Prosecuting attorney Alvin Bragg says there are many voices out there on this verdict.
We have the most important voice of all, and that's the voice of the jurors. They have spoken. Donald J. Trump has been convicted of 34 counts of falsifying business records.
For U.S. voters, Trump's convictions could make a difference in what's expected to be a close election, says Hofstra University professor Mina Bose.
The question is really for undecided or voters, independent voters, voters who may be disappointed with President Biden for a multitude of reasons, but we're not keen, perhaps not keen on supporting Donald Trump. This could make a big difference.
Texas voter Colton Coates says the verdict seems to have been reached fairly.
I'm not necessarily sure what parties those jurors were a part of, but I do believe they were impartial, and you know, when you have a lot of jury members and they all agree on the same thing, you know there has to be some sort of truthfulness to their verdict.
Curtis Nayo says it shows the U.S. justice system is not impartial.
If the people in the country don't see the judicial system as it is right now, don't think if they can do this to a president especially for what they've been going at the last 7 or 8 years on him, they need to wake up because they're next.
Trump attorney Todd Blanche says he'll appeal the verdicts. That will make all the difference, says Alabama voter Bill Adams.
I have real reservations on voting for a convicted felon, but I don't believe he's a convicted felon. I believe it'll be overturned.
California voter Tracy Lewis says the verdict shows Trump is not above the law.
He's not fit for office, and this is just one of many things that he's up for conviction on, and so I hope this turns the tide and more people realize that he should not be allowed to be president again.
Trump's sentencing is scheduled for July 11th, just days before the Republican Party is expected to formally nominate him as its presidential candidate. Scott Stearns, VOA.
All right, and now let's get sporty here on KUTV Weekend Live. And Kenya Volleyball Premier League leaders GSU disarmed KDF 3-0 in the men's first leg semi-finals staged today at Kasarani Indoors Arena. Kenya Prisons on the other side were too strong for Kenya Ports Authority, sweeping away KPA at 3-1 to claim the first semi-final leg advantage. In the women's contest, champions KCB defeated DCI 3-2 in the first semi-finals playoffs, with the return leg set for tomorrow at the same venue, with aggregate winners proceeding to the finals to be held next week. History beckons as Borussia Dortmund dare to dream when they take on Real Madrid in the final of the UEFA Champions League at Wembley Stadium in London, England today. At 10 p.m. East African time, Borussia Dortmund will be eyeing their first Champions League since 1997, while the Spanish giants Real Madrid will be out to expand their trophy cabinet to a record 15. Borussia Dortmund qualified for the Champions League final following a 2-0 aggregate victory over French champions PSG, while Real Madrid qualified after a 4-3 aggregate victory over Bayern Munich. Alright, and on that sports note, we call it a wrap right here on KUTV Weekend Live, 25 minutes past the top of the hour. Many thanks for choosing KUTV Weekend Live to inform you tonight. And as we begin the month, as someone said, in a world where you can be anything, please be kind. And it takes a whole village to produce this bulletin. And many thanks, Yvonne Kemuma, my producer, for making this bulletin a success. My director, Kimani James Baraka, asante sana. On sound, we had Ismail Akunda. Many thanks. On the news playout was Esther Oore. Many thanks for making this bulletin a success. And lastly, on the graphics was Eric Mshila. Many thanks for producing and making this bulletin a whole success. And to you, our dear viewer, it's see you next time on Saturday, same time, same place, right here on KUTV Weekend Live from Kenyatta University Television Studios. From me, good night. And our sign language interpreter has been Mutava Mwongeli.